Wow, you are remarkable. Truly, the fact that you're here reading or listening to this brief podcast tells me something about you. It tells me that your heart and mind are open. It tells me that you're willing to invest in your perspective in psychology. And as you know, your psychology is everything. Your desire to feed that mind of yours with positivity, optimism, and helpful strategies, I guarantee will be a tremendous advantage for you in school, in relationships, in your present, and with your future work. I am convinced that one of the most sought out and intelligent character traits that we can possess and nourish is our willingness to be coachable, teachable, and humble. And find sources in your life that promote education, that encourage peaceful and loving relationships, that encourage you and inspire you to elevate your personal life and the life of others around you, and attach yourself to these sources. If there are sources in your life that promote hatred, prejudice, and disrespect to yourself and others around you, my humble suggestion is detach yourself from these sources, from these things. For heaven's sakes, be wise. Anyways, I got a little sidetracked. Your awesome question today was, what are some ways to help with overthinking, or how can I stop overthinking? Of course, this is a brilliant question, and I love your courage for asking it. Can I answer your question with another question, though? Does overthinking have to be a bad thing? I remember having a discussion with a friend about this very thing. He told me, Yuri, I overthink too much. And I asked him, is that a bad thing? He looked at me kind of funny and he said, yeah, I think about all the things that could go wrong and all the possible what-if scenarios. And in the end, I just end up feeling like junk. And I'm like paralyzed. I don't do anything. It's obvious why he wasn't loving his overthinking. When people refer to overthinking, they're usually not talking about a positive thing. In psychology, we call this negative overthinking catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is when your mind jumps to the worst possible outcome, or when you imagine or tell yourself that situations are gonna end up badly for yourself. In fact, I saw an amazing t-shirt yesterday that said, hold on, let me overthink this. It's brilliant, right? I'm also reminded of Mark Twain, who was that famous author, and honestly, he was a little bit of a philosopher, and his quote said, I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. Our lovely brains love to spend a ton of energy fantasizing about how things can and will go wrong. Sometimes our brains will time travel to the past and find all of our failures, all of our rejections, all of our mistakes, and simply project those to the future. In other words, we end up thinking that just because something happened in the past, that it's going to happen now, and it's going to happen in the future as well. But my friends, this simply isn't true. In fact, this is called generalizing, and it's one of your brain's favorite little tools to use that sometimes is really useful, but sometimes it's not. But let's get back to the overthinking and catastrophizing and what we can do to learn and teach our brain a much better set of skills that don't lead us to feeling unmotivated, nervous, and pessimistic about the present and the future. My friend, the goal is for you to go into this world with confidence, to know that you can grow, learn anything, and bring a ton of value to yourself and others. I'm not just trying to hype you up or get you to feel good. I want you to internalize this truth so that when you catch your brain overthinking in a negative way and filling you with doubt and discouragement, I want you to be able to respond with intelligence, with reason, and proven strategies. So what do we do when our brain is overthinking in a negative way? Step one is simply to recognize that your brain is overthinking. As easy as that sounds, I'm telling you, this step matters. So if you find yourself paralyzed and spending a lot of time in your head overthinking negative outcomes, ask yourself these two questions. 1, is this helpful? Is this thinking helpful to me? Is it effective? Does this thinking lead to a solution and to some action? If not, you've just caught your brain overthinking. And number 2, does it inspire you? Does this thinking inspire you to take correct and forward-moving action? Do I feel more motivated or discouraged? If you feel discouraged, you're probably in the middle of a negative overthinking storm. Now, you don't need to be upset with yourself. Just recognize it. Just literally say, oh, Here's my brain overthinking again. This is just what it does. Step 2 is all about learning to shift the gears inside your head. I sometimes use this example to help people recognize overthinking. Imagine a car with manual shifting, or really it can be automatic shifting. But this car is in neutral, right? It's on a little N letter, right? It's in neutral. What happens when your car is in neutral and you're pressing on the gas? Imagine yourself just revving up that engine, but because the car is in neutral, the car isn't doing anything and the wheels aren't going anywhere. It's just a lot of really loud noise. Sometimes our brains get stuck in this place. There's a lot of brain noise, but no correct or helpful movement. In other words, sometimes our brains get stuck overthinking, which can create a lot of nervousness, discouragement, and fear. This fear in turn paralyzes us and keeps us from moving forward. So how do we shift gears inside your head? I'll give you a hint. It's not by overthinking your overthinking. In other words, don't try to fight your thoughts with more thoughts. Instead, and this is your step number 3, take action. Physically do something that is helpful, that is intelligent, that is good, and that matches your beliefs and your values. I believe it was Tony Robbins that once said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, he said, the quickest way to shift the way you feel is to physically do something. So once again, don't stay stuck in the couch or lying in your bed trying to mentally tug of war against your brain, because honestly, most of the times we lose those. Instead, do something that you believe is fun, good, intelligent, adventurous, cool, kind, awesome, and something that builds your social circle, your mind and your body. Don't let your overthinking and your fear drive the decisions in your life. My awesome friends, we've all been there. Everyone either has or will deal with negative overthinking. In a way, your brain is wired to find the danger, real or imagined danger, so that you can prepare and protect yourself. But we cannot live in this state of fear. That type of life is too restrictive. It's too small. I want you to live big. I want you to seize the day, to live deeply, and to suck out all the marrow of life. You have a unique set of skills, character traits, and wisdom that is meant to be shared and meant to contribute in this world. When you find yourself in neutral, battling your brain, spinning your wheels, doing a lot of brain revving, and creating all sorts of mental noise up there that is not useful or that is not inspiring you, you know it's time to shift gears and physically do something good for your mind, for your body, for your spirit, and socially. It's time for you to start working on becoming your own motivational speaker. Remember that you're the most important person you speak to every day. So keep your language with yourself inspiring, uplifting, motivational, positive, and optimistic. Have it be patient, loving, and awesome. Don't get caught up on whether things are weird or awkward or whether people will think this or that. Instead, focus your mind on doing a good thing, an intelligent thing, an awesome and courageous thing, an uplifting thing. You know what I mean? Don't stop yourself from doing awesome things because you're so afraid of what others may think. My friends, it's time to graduate from that kind of thinking and instead ask yourself better questions like, what would be a fun thing to do? What would be a smart thing to do here? What is something cool that I could do right now? What is the kind thing to do? What can I do that matches what I believe in, my best, highest values? Anyways, you get the idea. Small steps, small actions, small shifts in your thinking can lead to awesome outcomes. Well, let's go to work and shift, baby.